Hey there.
Hello, everybody. You are tuned in to Know What. My name is Nell.
My name is Lebu. So now today we're actually speaking about something that's actually awesome.
Yeah.
So now, as a property investor, we do understand how important credit is, because now that's the only way that we are actually able to actually scale our property at a faster pace. We are actually able to actually leverage on the property that we have. But before we actually dive into content, Nell wants to give us some exciting news.
Man, we have been speaking about hosting our property workshops throughout South Africa. So we'll be making an announcement at the end of the video about where we'll be hosting our second property workshop.
Sure, that should be exciting because now we're always speaking about total market domination, right? So now we will actually be hosting throughout South Africa this year. So let's dive into content. Now, how do you feel that people should actually structure their things, or what tips do you actually have in order for someone to actually increase their credit score?
I mean, one of the most common questions that we are being asked is that, guys, is there a place whereby I can get money if I'm not using credit, or if I don't have that cash? Is there some place that I can actually ask for money and start my property investment portfolio? It's very important, especially when it comes to credit or lenders, that credit bureaus play an important role with regards to collecting credit information and storing it as a report.
Let's put this whole notion of other people's money into practice, right? Who is actually going to borrow someone money that they've never actually seen them working? So now, say for instance, if you do have a particular property and you want to actually invest in it, and you've never actually done the whole property investing stuff, right? And now you need to go ask someone for 1 million to actually invest in that particular property. I mean, who is actually going to say that here's the 1 million, just go and see if this is going to be a success or not? The best way to actually go into using other people's money is to actually have experience with your own money. So now, the best way to actually start using credit is actually going through credit that's of your own. So now, once I see that someone is actually comfortable with using their money in terms of investing and using their name in terms of the credit side, I'm now actually confident in borrowing them money to actually invest, unlike someone that's actually coming from the first time and asking me that money to actually invest with.
You know, we've always been told, Level, that don't stay away from credit. Now comes a time whereby I need to apply for a home loan. I need money for renovation. I need money for transfers. I need money. Let's say my tenant is leaving. So I still need that additional amount to invest in my business. So, I mean, looking at it in that way, it's very important to understand that I might not need X amount right now. However, when it comes to property investing, I should be thinking in the future in terms of, with property investing, we're dealing with a whole lot of money. So with a whole lot of money comes a whole lot of credit. And I might not think that, you know what, do you think I really need 50,000 at this point in time? Now, man, let me just keep my credit small. So with property investing, like me and Leo always tell our clients that when the credit guys call, we actually even tell them that increase that credit. You shouldn't even be asking me. You just automatically increase it because you do not know what the future has in store for you.
Sure. I think for me, on my side, the thing that has actually stood out for me in order for me to actually keep a healthy credit score is having a debit order. So now I know with a whole lot of people, they are saying that I don't want any debit orders that are actually going to go off on my account. So now the problem with me is that I have, I think, 4 credit cards, right? I have 3 in-store accounts, and the list goes on and on. So now the problem is that sometimes it might get hectic so much that I'm not able to actually make the payments on time. So now, if I know that I have a debit order that's actually going to take place on my account directly, I then know that it relieves more stress for me to actually be going around from one shop to another to actually now start paying these things off. Because now remember, each day that you actually miss, that you don't actually pay on time, that has an effect on your credit score. So now make sure that you're actually going to be paying your credit card or your in-store account on time.
I mean, the example that I like making with our clients is, imagine making a reversal of 100 rand. Like, I'm not paying that amount. Making that reversal of 100 rand only to jeopardize the house, your dream house or your dream property that's worth 1 million. So 100 rand actually costed you 1 million opportunity. As
Yes.
much as you are speaking about the 4 credit cards that you have, level, it's very important to also emphasize the responsibility that comes with that 4. As much as we're talking about the in-store accounts that you have, it's very important to emphasize the importance of how do I handle them, because at the end of the day you do not want to use them excessively to a point whereby it's not going back to the business itself.
Yes.
Like, man, I'm serious about this, because I do not want a situation whereby somebody's excessively using credit because they heard somebody say, guys, use credit. We use credit for investment purpose. The only time we use credit is in a strategic manner, because I already know that I'm keeping it below 40%, and I know that I do have that amount to squash the credit. Instead of squashing it or buying it cash, I'd rather prolong the whole system. For instance, I know that I have 800 Rand in my bank account. So I see a jean that's worth 800. Instead of buying it cash, what I can do, I buy it on credit, knowing every month I'll be paying 200 Rand. In that way, I am growing my credit in a sustainable manner.
I mean, what you're just talking about is that with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Yeah.
So now that you have actually been handed the credit card that is actually worth 100,000, now you have a huge responsibility of actually keeping or maintaining a good credit score, right?
Yeah.
So now how do you actually do that? I think something that you actually mentioned right now is that you need to be using this particular credit card as an investment card, right?
Yeah.
That's the first point. Now, the second point that I also wanted to make is that when you are going to be using this 100,000, remember, if your limit or how much you have on your credit card is 100,000, you need to make sure that you're only using 30% of that 100,000. Or even if you have 1,000 in your credit card, you make sure you do not actually exceed the limit of 30%. Because now what happens in that case is that the bank actually looks at you and says that, no, man, this person is actually dependent on this particular credit card. So it wouldn't make sense for us to actually increase their credit limit. Once your bank actually sees that this person isn't really dependent on their credit card and they're actually able to use their credit card in the most efficient manner, they are more likely to actually borrow you or give you more money than you actually have right now.
You know, when it comes with credit, when it comes to credit level, it's very important to understand what you are doing when it comes to property investing. Because last thing you want to do, I'd rather make a mistake with my money than make a mistake with other people's money.
Yeah.
I know it sounds quite interesting. It sounds quite nice that, you know what, I'm using other people's money. However, now, what if I do a mistake in terms of buying the wrong property with other people's money?
Sure.
Because
And that time it's the person's retirement fee.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
made a mistake.
Yeah. That is why it's actually hard to have access to funds for property investing, because it can easily go wrong. We're always talking about investing in yourself. Now, if you are thinking of using credit to buy a property, best make sure that you hit the link below on Calendly and you book a Zoom meeting with us, and then we'll actually discuss the importance of investing in yourself and how can you go about that. Because as I did mention, that the last thing you want is using credit or other people's money only to find out that you bought into a wrong deal. Like, I wouldn't want to find myself in that situation, because the thing is that you'll start thinking that property investing is a scam. You start thinking that with property investing, not property investing is not for everybody. Whereas you didn't get the skill. With property investing, what credit does is that it really shows you how hard your money is working. Let me give you an example of what I'm saying. With a cash deal, let's say I bought the property for 1 million cash, and then now my expenses are only my levies, my rates and taxes, insurance, my maintenance, and my management. Now I find out that, okay, I'm actually getting 10,000, but all my expenses amount to about 4,000. So in essence, I'm keeping 6,000. However, now when it comes to credit, I have my bond included in that. I have the interest rate included in that. So what's happening is that if I'm using, I know we also like speaking about this. If I'm saying I'm in a 100% bond deal, no money down, what will happen is that my expenses are going to reach 11,000. However, my income is 10,000. So already just by looking at those numbers, I'm running at a cash flow negative of 1,000. So if I'm with a deal with the bank for the next 20 years, that means I'll be taking out 1,000 for the next 20 years. In that way, it's clear from the onset that I was involved in a wrong deal. And you do not want to find yourself in this type of deal. Hence, I did mention that if you want to grow your credit, you want to actually think about affordability. So now with affordability is that how can I increase my net worth? How can I increase my cash flow so that I can afford more properties? So as I did mention that we have the link below, and if you want to have a nice discussion about this, hit us with a Zoom.
Back to what we want to actually tell you about, right? On the 5th of June, we will actually be hosting our second official property workshop, and that will actually be held in Midrand. So now if you are actually interested in terms of attending this particular one, make sure that you RSVP as soon as possible before we get booked out.
So far, Bryanston is out. It's done, dusted. Secondly, Pretoria is coming up. That's already fully booked. June, we are heading to Midrand. So looking forward to seeing you. We're about to also secure the next one, and then we'll make an announcement as soon as we finalize that. We really want to fill this calendar up and provide as much property information and add value towards you. That is what we do on a daily basis.
Remember, it's property events at nongwealth.co.za. Looking forward to seeing you.
Invest like a pro with Nongwealth.
And if you haven't actually subscribed, make sure that you do what's right.
Nongwealth signing out.